So today I'm with Jo Driver, who is a very experienced entrepreneur. She started her first business in 1995 and has built several companies. However, her main passion is actually helping other entrepreneurs grow their businesses. Hi, Jo.
Hi, Lee. Hi.
So you're with the Sales Masters Guild. Tell us exactly what do they do?
Okay, so the Sales Masters Guild is a mentored and training entrepreneurial company. So we basically help businesses either start out and get the education that they need on how to grow a business that works for them, affording them a good income and the work-life balance that goes with it. On the other levels, we can help businesses that are already at a certain level just take their business to a whole new level, turn it around and take it to whatever level they want to go for. So we have a few strings to our bows. Obviously it was started about 9-10 years ago by John Ketley. We are an association, we are not a franchise of business mentors. We all have experience of growing our own businesses, that is a must. So we've all been there, we've all failed, we all know what it takes to come back from failure and go forward. And that's important to help others stop making the same mistakes. So yeah, that's really what we do. We're all different mentors within the Sales Masters Guild.
So what is it they say? Experience is what you get after you needed it.
Yeah, been there, done that, got the t-shirt.
So one of the main things you help with as part of that is kind of getting more sales.
Yeah, what I find, Lee, is a lot of the time, and if we're talking small business owners just starting out, because I know they're your background as well, and typically they're the ones that have this problem. Yeah. Is, as you'll be aware, you'll get somebody who maybe leaves a job, an employed job for whatever reason, and they think, right, I'll start a business in, let's say, web design. Sorry. But at the end of the day, they are great at what they do. So they've got the technical experience, they know all the bits and bobs that go together, but they can't articulate what it is that they do. And they just don't know how to sell their product because they've been in more of a technical role for many, many years. And so suddenly they've become the business owner. And unfortunately, when you're a small business, you kind of have to wear all the hats to start off with. The sales and the admin and everything else, and that's just not their forte. Right. So we teach people, one of the workshops we do is teach people how to sell without being salesy.
Awesome. I mean, I think one of the reasons why salespeople get quite a bad rap and why people have this really kind of embedded idea of what a salesperson is because there's so many bad ones out there, isn't it? So what makes a bad salesperson in your opinion? Okay,
well, I'm sure we've all been into the shop, and as soon as you walk into a shop, well, before coronavirus, obviously, the person used to almost jump on you and go, can I help you? And would literally just fuss around you without actually identifying what you had come in there to buy or what you may be looking for or need. And I'm sure we've all been there, and we've kind of rushed out of that shop as quickly as possible because, yeah, sometimes we want to browse, but other times, yeah, they just haven't identified the needs that we're actually looking for. They don't bother to spend the time finding out about their customer and how they can help them.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the examples I know of is my husband likes to buy kind of silly gifts for his nephews, and he went to Toys R Us once, and he was looking for basically a kind of push-along car type of thing. They live on a farm, you know, there's lots of space. The guy tried to sell him an electric indoor car, which was completely not what he wanted, and he finished it off with the line, well, kids don't like to be outside these days. And it's like, really?
Yeah, and that's a prime example, and business owners make this mistake as well. coupled with the fact is they don't actually start off their business by actually identifying who their clients are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it goes back to starting out the business in the correct way.
Yeah. So what do you think makes a great salesperson?
Okay, somebody who knows who their client is, or their target client, their ideal client, who knows what pain, desires that they want either to move away from or actually want in their life, the benefits, and simply spend the time getting to know that client, asking them questions that identifies how they can help them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I think you can tell about like the bad companies are currently replacing their telephone salespeople at least with robots. And I think if you can
Yeah.
replace, if you rather than training your salespeople, you're replacing them with robots, it kind of says something about you.
Yeah, what sort of world are we coming into, Lee? I mean, we're coming into. I'm kind of distraught because so many years I spent going back to the mid 1990s. We didn't have the internet was just about coming on. We certainly didn't have social media. People had to pick up the phone and speak to people. People had to go out and meet people. Nowadays, it's assumed that you can send a message on one of the social media platforms, whatever, and just sell to people.
Yeah. But then I think that's just an extension of people used to think you just open a shop and sales just happen.
It would.
Yeah. You know, because word of mouth, but it is, I think people struggle to understand it takes a long time to do that, and it takes quite a in-depth strategy as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's the sort of time we go into getting known for what it is that you do, which is obviously marketing your product, which comes before sales.
Well, it's the intro. It's what makes people go, oh, I should go and find out more. But then if you get there and somebody is either isn't asking the right questions or doesn't give the people the confidence, even over email, you know, every interaction is a sales opportunity, really, isn't it? It's at every stage where people kind of ask, are you open? And if you don't kind of respond in the best way, then
Yeah, I find sales being done over the likes of emails very, very hard. Being slightly dyslexic myself, I can read an email and I can read it in various different ways, and it probably isn't the way that it was intended for it to be written.
yeah, I get numbers kind of mixed up quite a lot, but yeah, I think if you can though, having that process in place can help. But I mean, wouldn't it be great to actually turn people's perceptions of sales on its head a bit? Wouldn't it be great to kind of get rid of all this bad kind of connotations and change the word? Maybe that's what it needs. Change the word.
Yeah, change words a little bit by a little bit. But yeah, this is what we do so that it helps the confidence of the business owner as well.
Yeah. So have you got any kind of tips for people who are maybe starting up a business? Something kind of that they could get started with?
Yeah, the biggest tip I actually use when I'm starting up a business, or when I speak to somebody who is starting up a business, is actually knowing where you want to get to. Where do you want to take that business? Because once you know that, you can form the roadmap of how to get there.
Brilliant. Nice.
So yeah, if you know how much you want to earn, how many days a week you want to work, etc. Maybe you're building a business to sell. You've got to know that. Because there's certain elements of that. The business has got to run without you in it to be able to make it saleable. So yeah, it is really a question of you've got to identify what it is you want. And then we can literally reverse engineer everything. We can build up a plan as to what customers will pay you for the service or the product you're providing. How many of those customers do you need? Once you know who those customers are, you know where to find them, how to get to them, and how to sell to them.
So if somebody is listening to this and has decided they want some help, what can they do? What's the best way for them to kind of start off with you?
The easiest, basically the two types of businesses I work with, those that are in their early years, they're just starting out, or they're in their first year or two and struggling. Mm-hmm. They're just not knowing the best direction in order to make the income that they want to make. For that, the best way forwards is we have a module called Project Blueprint, which is a mentored training program that takes them through the training of all of the elements that make a business that work, and it's mentored at the same time, and it's done in peer groups of about 6 to 8 like-minded business owners, all on the same part of their journey. So they learn exactly what it is that makes a business work, and they get kept accountable too as well. So that's the easiest option for somebody to join working with me. It's the most cost-effective option, and obviously at the moment all of these are done virtually.
Cool. Awesome. So do they just go on the website?
No, they're done on a live once a month Zoom, and then in between the Zoom, they have access to myself as a business mentor, a bit like being a partner on their shoulder, helping them through anything that they're not sure of. They also have obviously the rest of their group to ask questions to, because come on, let's face it, half a dozen brains is better than one, and somebody might just look at something in a totally different way than I might, and it will give them the answer that they want. So that is the entry route. Prior to that, if somebody just wants to take a training course, we have online training available, and we used to do, haven't done them quite so much, we used to do them one day trade workshops on selling, how to network. Obviously, since the times that we're finding ourselves in now, it's sitting in a room for a day or sitting on Zoom for a day is a little bit too much. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm assuming they can get in touch with you at salesmastersguild.com though?
Yes, joe.driver@salesmastersguild.com. My website, joedriver.co.uk, takes them straight to my micro Sales Masters Guild website.
Fabulous. Thank you very much for your insights, Joe. Very nice to chat to you. Thank you for your help.
Thank you.